Hi, welcome back to my channel. Something I wanted to talk about was how I couldn't breathe in my own body at 318 pounds and becoming extremely claustrophobic, which I never really was. I've always been afraid of heights, but to be like claustrophobic in your own body is something I've never felt in my life because I'd never been 318 pounds. But I remember for several years that I was that weight. Not only did I have such a hard time breathing, I know that I couldn't even stand up to do dishes. Like, that's how bad it was. I couldn't stand to do dishes too long. Bending over would make me lose my breath. I was going through photos the other day, and I said this in the other video, and this is what I found. So when people are like, you really couldn't breathe? Yeah, I really couldn't breathe. My neck was like suffocating me. My body was suffocating me. Suffocating? I think that's the word. And did I lose weight because of that? No. I don't know why. That didn't Melissa, you can't breathe, like change something. No, I knew I couldn't breathe. I knew I couldn't bend over. I knew I wanted to pass out washing dishes because I could barely stand. My feet would swell so big. Like, I think they call them kinkles. I had those. I couldn't do anything. I remember bending down one time because I have naturally curly hair to put mousse in my hair, and I lost my breath, and I still didn't do anything about it, but I lost my damn breath, and I could have just passed out and I would start sweating, my face would stay red. It was insane. But what kind of shook me, but I still don't lose weight because of it, was me giving birth to my son. And the reason why I'm going to tell you this story is because if you know you can't breathe in your body, there's a reason for it. And you need to do something about it. Me, I waited until I had a stroke to do something about it. Even though I was given like every freaking sign to get my freaking chubby butt up and do something, you know? I remember I was giving birth to my son. Number one, let me just say, whenever I was pregnant and I was really big, no one ever knew I was pregnant because I was so big. Oh, that's so embarrassing. I can't even believe I said that. That's so embarrassing. Anyways, I was like that big. But I was giving birth to my son. I needed an emergency C-section. He flipped his little freaking butt around in me, and they're like, hey, a C-section. I was like, no. They're like, it's your only option, girl. So I had to do it. I don't recover from like cuts and stuff really well. Like, my body's very sensitive, very, very sensitive. So if they're going to slip me one side to another, I was like, I knew it wasn't going to be good. But that's a different thing. So I had an emergency C-section, and this isn't to scare anybody because C-sections aren't, they're crazy and intense and scary, but any type of childbirth is crazy and intense and scary. But they opened up my stomach, and when they did, I felt it. And someone came behind me because they had brought in several doctors, I think because of how big I was. That's my only guess. And he came behind me and injected me with something, and I passed out. Well, when I passed out, I was so loud of snoring, I guess I kept losing my breath. And the doctor looked at my kid's dad and said, if she doesn't do anything about this, she doesn't do something about this now, this is what she's going to die from. She's losing her breath. And my kid's dad had told me, you were so loud, you kept losing your breath. Everybody was like scrambling, staring at you. Like, your snoring was so loud that, like, it stopped everybody in their tracks, and everybody was trying to tell him to tell me, even though he was just going to tell me, hey, no. Like, he didn't really care. Like, he was just like, hey, this is what the doctor said. Gotta go, okay, bye. So he really didn't care. But and did it make me lose weight? No. I want to say it did. My daughter used to, which I kind of knew because it'd wake me up. I couldn't lay like on my back. And like I said, I've always had a really big chest. So it's always kept me from a lot of things. And a smaller body. So when I was 318 pounds, I would lay on my back. Because when I lay on my stomach, it just felt like I could like flop my hands up my I don't know why I say this stuff. I mean, just to entertain myself. I don't freaking know. But it didn't, like, it felt like I was high in the air. I don't know. So I'd lay on my back and I would lose my freaking breath. I will lose, it's not funny. But, like, it's funny to me, like, thinking of it. Because I'm like, why didn't I get up and be like, you cannot stand up to do dishes. You cannot walk but a few steps, and you are losing your breath, and people are like lost in their tracks listening to you. You sound freaking, my daughter recorded me to let me hear what I sounded. She's like, Mom, you're so embarrassing. I can't have friends over. This is my 20-year-old now. But she's like, I can't have friends over. They always ask what that is, what that noise is. And so she recorded me. I was like, damn you, Daisy. Because I think she went like on Snapchat or something. And I was so loud, but all I could do really is laugh because that was just like really awkward that I sounded like that. And I'm like, oh my God, you know? And then I always thought, like, after I had a baby, like, am I the one waking my child up, like, through the night stuff? Like, the baby's wanting to sleep. Is it my, like, loud, snoring that's waking up my infant? Because my kids would wake up so much during the night, and I would breastfeed, so I just pop my boob in their mouth and go back to bed. But, like, it was so many times. I'm thinking, like, now my breathing was so rumbling, but to lose your breath and to lose that air. And I remember waking up and gasping for air when I was laying on my back. And then I told you sometimes I was like brave, and so I would just kind of sleep on my side. I was always a stomach sleeper, always slept on my stomach. I sleep on my stomach now. But sleeping on my stomach wasn't kind of an option for me. So I'd sleep on my side. And I remember one time, regardless of like whatever anybody thinks, like, this is my experience, this is what I experienced. I remember like having an outer body experience. I remember laying in my room, and I don't know if like I like died for a few seconds or what happened, or if anybody else has ever experienced this. But I remember looking down and seeing myself sleeping. And then I went right back and woke myself up. So I don't know if I was, I don't know if something was like, you're not ready yet. Like, you're supposed to, of course I was supposed to learn from it that I couldn't breathe because I could clearly feel it. But that still, it scared me and it shook me, but I still didn't go lose any weight. I'll never understand my way of thinking. But it takes everybody different things for them to like get in gear to like lose the weight. Like I said, you have to want to lose the weight, but I was literally gasping for air, waking up at night, snoring so loud, losing my breath. I just knew, like, I just didn't want to accept it. I didn't want to tell anybody about it, especially my family. Everybody's really thin in my family and cute, and I was just eating my feelings away and my life away, and I feel like no one would understand, and when you say like I can't breathe, they're gonna be like, go to the doctors. I don't want to go to the doctors because I didn't want to know, like, if I was diabetic, which I was, or any of those things. Like I said, my face used to stay red, and I used to sweat, pour down sweat. in stores, and I used to just fan off and dab my face, and I had people say stuff to me all the time. I had, you know, I used to have to hang on to the shopping cart like this and like push it, and I was humiliated all the time, and it made me even eat more and more sad, more sad. So I get it if it's like, you know, you're like, oh, I want to lose weight, and I hate being like this, and I hate this, and you're acknowledging it, and you're just like, where do I start? Where do I start? And you're researching stuff, which I didn't do, but I should have, research stuff. I'm just one of those. I don't know why I'm procrastinating. I'm a procrastinator. I just do stuff the way I want to do it. I don't know if I'm hard-headed, whatever you want to call that. That's what I am. So it takes me like a while, to want to do stuff like that, which I still don't do because I just don't do it. So I get like the frustration of wanting it so freaking bad and acknowledging all these freaking things that are going on with you and feeling like you're diabetic. You feel like you're diabetic, you will know. You'll constantly be thirsty. I don't know if it's different for everybody. I was constantly thirsty, peeing like crazy. I sweated. I was thin, sweating. Like I would say, hey, and sweat would pour down my face. So like I knew something was wrong because like even when it's pouring down thunder, lightning, and rain, I was like had flip-flops on because I was like too hot. And now I'm like freezing 24/7, but I think that's like old age. I don't know. Even though I'm 28. So again, I get the frustration and the wanting, and like you want the knowledge and you want like the drinks because people, companies, like I've said before in a video, I know people that have lost so much weight and they look amazing, but they had $500 to spend, $400 and something to spend. I don't think there's a price like on your life of paying stuff. Then afterwards, but the next month you can't pay that. Then what do you do? And I always think about that. And I'm like, well, then what do you do the next month when you're, I can't take away from my kids. Like I can't, not everybody's just going to figure it out. I just kind of did. I'm not saying you can't, but what I did was just switch my foods. And, I recorded recently 2 grocery hauls. I'm going to put them up so you could kind of see what I get in a week. And then on Instagram, I want to do like the stories so you guys can kind of see me cooking it and stuff. It's like amazing food. I don't even care. Like I lost 179 pounds off it, and it was so good. Like I wasn't going to eat no dry food, no nothing. I wanted what I wanted. Yeah, maybe I am hard-headed. But so I get, the companies that do work and the programs that do work, and I see amazing results, but not everybody has that money. Not everybody has that money. And it's got to be like a lifestyle change, not you pay somebody and then you take that product. It's like, it's got to be a lifestyle. And you just got to be done with it all. Me, like I said, I recently gained 10 pounds. I did it to myself because this is the type of stuff I do. I could lose it. I know how to lose weight. I just do it to myself. So I was like I can't breathe size 2. Now I'm like in a size 6 that I'm like, okay, but it's uncomfortable. That's what kind of size I'm in. So, but I know what I'm doing. I know how to do it, and I'll help anybody. Like I tell everybody, I'll help you. You're not given complete instructions on how to do. There's not one way to do something. There's not, everybody's body is completely different. So when nutritionists, or I'm not a nutritionist, I'm not any of those. Like I just did it. And everybody's body is completely different. When you're, I think the most frustrating thing and the whole weight loss thing is like knowing what foods you gain more weight on, because once you see the scale go up, it's like piss me off. you know, but I knew that when I'd eat steak, okay, Melissa, if you're going to go weigh yourself, you're going to be up a few pounds. Why? Because I know steak is heavy in the body for me. But just know, like, when you're doing, you know, any type of anything in your body, all of a sudden one day you're so hungry and you're like starving, feed yourself. Feed yourself. I used to be like, no, I can't because I'm going to gain the weight back. No, your body's telling you something. Your body will tell you, just listen. I would eat that whole entire day, and then the next day I would have still lost a few pounds. Your body just needed that. If you can, get vitamin B shots. I get vitamin B shots every month now. I pay like $86, but to me, like, maybe they do nothing. In my mind, they do something. So it's like if I'm not eating, you know, all this stuff, because like I said, I've never researched it, so I don't know like what intake of vitamins and all this stuff you're supposed to. So I just go get a vitamin B shot. Just kind of makes me feel better, like I'm like doing something, you know. Plus I'm getting to be 29. Wink wink. So it's like make me a little youthful. In my mind, it makes me youthful. So like I said, you know, you can't breathe in your body. You become claustrophobic. I remember, I was going to do a whole entire video on this, but I'll just say it. I remember like only looking in a compact. Yeah, a compact. I'm bringing it back that far. A compact mirror. I think I stopped doing my hair. I stopped showering a good majority of the time. I stopped doing my makeup, but if I really needed to look at myself, I would look in a little tiny compact, because when I looked in a mirror, I'd pass the mirror, I'd number one, close my eyes, never look in it. I still, no, you know what, sometimes I'm like, you got it, girl, and then I'm like, oh yeah, never mind, you don't got it. But that's just like my mind, you know, that's all everybody's mind. But I would walk past the mirror, and what I would get a glance, or when I would look, I'd be like, this isn't Melissa. Like this, I would start getting claustrophobic where I couldn't breathe. I would see how big my body was, and then I couldn't breathe, and I would start hyperventilating and start being like, oh my God, like get me out of this, get me out of this. And I would tell my mom, and of course I'd be staying in my family, so no one understood. But I would like hyperventilate, seeing myself in that big body. It was like I was wearing a suit or something, and screaming, just get me out of this. Like what, like get me out, like I can't breathe when I would see my body. Like I just really have been processing stuff and sitting back and thinking of like everything I felt, and you know, just like hating it but accepting it, because I wasn't doing anything about it, and I could do something about it. I just wasn't, you know. So yeah, if you're experiencing that, you know, you're gonna get there. You want it, you'll do it. The mind will do what you tell it, if that makes sense. Everybody asks, how was I able to do it? Because I never thought I couldn't. So if I never thought I couldn't, and I never let myself process that I couldn't do it, then what else can the mind do that we tell it? You know, how could people that think that they're pregnant make their stomachs go out and get breast milk, and they're called phantom pregnancies? If your mind of you thinking you're pregnant can make your body expand and have a belly and produce milk, so just imagine what your mind could do if your mind's only set like I could do this, and you just do it. You just do it if your mind's that strong. So just imagine things that we could actually accomplish and do if we just thought that one thing, or that one thing we were trying to achieve. In my mind, I started telling myself I'm 28. So in all honesty, I'll tell people, oh yeah, I'm 28. And I'm like, you damn liar. No, you're freaking not. But like my mind, like in my mind, I'm like, I'm 28. No, Melissa, you're 38. Like, what are you going through? So yeah, I'm like, if I could live longer, if I could look more youthful, I'm telling my body I'm 28. That's how I want to live my life, because there's no right way to do it. As long as you're not hurting anybody or, doing anything deceptive or unkind, and as long as you're doing you and do whatever your body will tell you, your body will guide you what's best for you, Screw the doctors who try to put you on stuff and tell you need gastric bypass and all that stuff. Yeah, if you want to do it, freaking do it. There's no wrong way. There's no wrong. Do whatever is comfortable with you. Do whatever is best for you. Only you know your body. There's only one of you. There's only one of you. I put up this thing the other day on Facebook, and of course, I don't know. Facebook's a totally different thing of the people I have on there. But what was I going to say? What was the quote? Now I completely got sidetracked what I was going to say, because I was getting I feel my hair in my mouth. Damn. Maybe I am 38. Maybe my mind's like, no, you're not. You're like losing your damn mind. I don't know. If I think about it, I'll like clip it in. I don't know. But again, here's another photo. I have it right next to me, so I'll show you. That was me. It was just, and I look at myself and I'm like, I don't know. I think that's going to be a whole other process. I haven't yet done that. Just looked at myself from my, because I still feel like that person. It's okay if you feel like that person. It's okay, to still not feel complete, but embrace life, enjoy life, know the mind is greater, you've got the universe rooting for you, so it's not easy. None of us have it together. Some of us are just more expressive in our experiences, and I'm very expressive. If someone's asking me, I just tell them everything, and I love to talk. So I'm like, and everybody comes to me for their advice, which I'm like, I'm confused my damn self. But hey, if it's helping other people, I'm like, let me do it. If you need to vent, I'll listen. I've always been that type of person, I'll be there for anybody, We're all in this together. We're in a world. There's no right and wrong way. Like I said, as long as you're not hurting anybody, there's no right and wrong way to do things. As long as you're honest, you have a kind heart, and your intentions are good, like, you got this, And I never once want you to think that, like, when I'm like, oh, and I lost 179 pounds. I, like, went straight freaking, I don't know, like, just get it done type mode, just get it done. But it took me to have a stroke on my face, become paralyzed, and become diabetic, and put on all these medications I need to get off of, because I knew it was screwing myself up. And I just knew that was just shady, all the stuff I was given. And don't let it get that extreme for you to do something, But if you're feeling claustrophobic, you'll get out of it. You want to do it, you'll get out of it. I will help you, the best way I can. I did it, and I'm the biggest procrastinator. And if I could do it, anybody could do it. And if no one is there for you, I'm there for you. And just know you're amazing, you're beautiful, and you've got this, and you've got me, and you'll be able to look in the mirror. That little tiny compact won't be your life anymore. You'll be able to walk past that mirror and be like, damn. I do with a Snapchat filter, but you'll get there. And you probably are so beautiful, and you don't even realize it. But one day you will, and then you'll live life again. And it's worth loving and living, especially when you have children watching you. I had children watching me, so it was like, get it done, So if you're not there, I get it, I understand it, but you got this. So, and I'm rooting for you.